Welcome. The chair is calling this meeting to order, the regular meeting of McLean County Board on Thursday, March 14th. And we have our public hearing first. So before we begin today's meeting, notice was published in the Pantograph, posted online and at the entrances of this building, indicating an intent of the McLean County Board to conduct a public hearing regarding the McLean County applying for the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, State Fiscal Year 2025, Section 5311, Formula Application for Rural Areas Operating Assistance, and the State Fiscal Year 2025 Downstate Operating Assistance, DOAP application for rural and urbanized area grants. I hereby declare this public hearing open. Are there any interested persons, agencies to be heard with respect to the proposal by McLean County for show bus for rural transportation for McLean County, Livingston County, Iroquois County, Ford County, DeWitt County, and Macon County? I ask again, are there any interested persons or agencies wishing to be heard on this matter? I ask a third time, are there any interested persons or agencies wishing to be heard on this matter? Ms. Taylor, has anyone sent any comments into the county, either electronically or written, regarding this subject?
We have had no requests.
This concludes the public hearing on the application for the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, State Fiscal Year 2025, Section 5311, Formula Application for Rural Areas Operating Assistance, and the State Fiscal Year 2025 Downstate Operating Assistance Program, DOAP, application for rural and urbanized area grants. Now going to call the meeting to order, and we have an invocation by member Lindsay Bloomfield. All rise, please.
Lord, as we embark on this board meeting, we place our confidence and trust in your providence. Lord, we lift up to you the needs and concerns of those whom we serve. Grant us the wisdom and discernment to take decisive steps towards positive outcomes as we seek to serve our community and fulfill our responsibilities with integrity and compassion. This month, we recognize the history and extraordinary accomplishments of women. Help us to reflect upon the many gifts they have brought to McLean County. In this season of transformation, we ask you to bless our land and those that care for it as we support growth for tomorrow. Help us all to plant seeds of hope and to nurture fruits of the Spirit through Jesus Christ this Lenten season. Lord, guide our county leadership and bless our police, fire, and all the public servants and our military who are both home and abroad. In this we pray, amen.
Would like Pledge of Allegiance, please? I'm going to ask Kyle Mueller to do the roll call, please.
Elizabeth Johnston. Here. Randall Knapp. Absent. Val Lehman.
Present?
Adam Reeves. Present. Jim Rogal. Present. Natalie Roseman Mendoza.
Here.
Susan Schaefer.
Here.
James Soldner. Here. Jeff Tompkins. Here. George Wendt. Present. Crystal Abel.
Here.
Jack Abraham. Absent. Corey Byrne.
Present.
Beverly Bell.
Present.
Lindsay Bloomfield. Present. Leah Klein,
Present.
Chuck Erickson,
Present.
William John Friedrich, Eric Hansen,
Present.
Catherine Metzger.
Present. We have 18 members present. We have a quorum. We can conduct business. We will move to number 6, and that's appearances by members of the public and county employees in reference to an agenda item. And we have 6 people. Please note that Mr. Knapp has arrived. We have 6 speakers. Each will have 3 minutes, and they have requested in advance, and we will begin in the order in which they were received. And Camille Taylor, if you would like to come to the podium, and you may use the microphone. Welcome, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. And my name is Camille Taylor, and I am grateful to speak to you about funding support for the YWCA Stepping Stone Sexual Assault Program. And in the interest of transparency, I am a member of the YWCA Board of Directors, but I am not here to speak for the board. I'm speaking as an individual, and I am a resident of District 10. 53 years ago, my best friend was raped. She lived 2 doors down from me, and we took the same route each day to and from school and from our after-school jobs. She was attacked from behind and dragged into the alley and left there bleeding, scraped with bruises. A Good Samaritan heard her crying and took her home, which was only a half a block away. Her parents did call the police, and she went to the hospital, but that was about it after she came home. Her parents were born in 1907 and 1918, and whatever generational things were going on, they did not do anything further. She had a full scholarship to Northwestern University that fall for pre-med. She started school that fall, but due to her trauma that was never really treated, she couldn't concentrate, she was afraid walking on campus. She ended up having a nervous breakdown and had to come home at the end of the semester or before the end of the semester. The entire trajectory of her life changed. She had wanted to be a pediatrician. She ended up going back to school in her late 20s, and at 40, she quit her job and went to nursing school. But she married late, had kids late. Everything was delayed because of the trauma that she endured as a teenager, and which was evidence that the impact of sexual violence has a long-lasting physical and psychological trauma on a person. Even though I wasn't the rape victim, I also had a fear of alleys after that. I began walking in the street when I had to go past one. When I moved here, I was glad that there weren't hardly any alleys around. And because of my time, I have always had a lot of what ifs after knowing about the YWCA's program, wondering what if she had had the opportunity to call that hotline when she was at college. Maybe she could have received the help. Maybe she could have had, what if she had had counseling? What if her parents had had counseling and help? All the things that the program does for the people here in McLean County, she was not able to have. So I ask you tonight to vote in support of this, knowing all of the things that you have that you vote for. I can't think of one thing maybe even that would be even more important than this because of the impact that it has, not just for today, but for people's lives into the future. I see my time is run out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. We have Dr. Frank Beck. Welcome, Dr. Beck.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak for the second time this week. The executive committee was the first and my first time ever making public comments ever. And I will be brief, and I will also change the language a little bit, given that there's some minors in the room. I am a 26-year resident of McLean County, currently in District 7, and a supporter of Stepping Stones. It is my understanding that funding of a grant application for Stepping Stones is before you. The funding is desperately needed. There are survivors of such assault in McLean County calling Stepping Stones for assistance and being placed on a waiting list. In my opinion, that is not acceptable. Such assault traumatizes people. I know years ago I was assaulted by two boys that I thought were my friends. They've been on my mind a lot lately. Until this week, I shared these stories with close friends only. I decided the matter is important enough that maybe by sharing, something good can finally come from something bad. When this occurred in Maple Heights, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, I'm proud to say, there were no services at that time. My parents did not call the police. It was a family matter, yet I know that my parents did their best. Survivors of such assault need assistance when they ask for it. Otherwise, there is further harm. Assistance is crucial to the mental health of the individual and their children and family. It's likely that the persons calling Stepping Stones have nowhere else to turn. I'm glad, as a resident here, that Stepping Stones is present at the YW and taking on this challenge. McLean County should support their efforts. It's a reasonably cheap way to assist those ready to work through their trauma rather than bury it. On behalf of persons on a waiting list, after they reach out, I ask that the McLean County Board support the funding of the YWCA's application. Thank you for your time. I sincerely mean that. Thank you for your time and your service to McLean County.
Thank you, Dr. Beck. Colleen Canaday. Welcome, Ms. Canaday.
Thank you. So good evening. Pleasure to be with you also, like Dr. Beck said, for the second time this week as I was here presenting to the Executive Committee a few days ago. My name is Colleen Canaday, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of Carl Broman Medical Center and Carl Eureka Hospital. I've been at the hospital and here in this community for just about 14 years, and I am also here to speak on behalf and in support of the funding before you tonight for the YWCA Stepping Stones program. One of the, obviously with a full service emergency department at Broman, we see many victims of sexual assault. One of the key services provided is through Stepping Stones for all victims of sexual assault. When they are called, day, night, weekend, anytime, they come on site into our emergency department, and they start immediately providing care and service and support to those victims of sexual assault. So they are truly a crisis intervention program in partnership with our hospital, as I know they are with St. Joe's, but they are in partnership with us serving crisis individuals in real time. Our nursing staff and our clinical teams are obviously very well trained and very well trained to care for the medical and to a certain extent the psycho and the social and psychological components. But the specific training that the staff and the team from Stepping Stones brings real time is critical in what starts the process of healing for something so traumatic in real time. I had shared on a couple nights ago that I came in one morning. We run a safety huddle every morning at the hospital at 8:30, and on a Monday morning, we had seen 3 victims of sexual assault in one weekend alone. And my heart breaks for any individual when you hear the statistics that 1 in 3 women are victims of sexual assault. This is an opportunity for us to come together in partnership and to truly make a difference for those that need us, that has an impact for years to come. So I thank you for the opportunity to be before you tonight to speak on behalf of the YW, on behalf of Stepping Stones, and I ask for your support for this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Canaday. We have Brenda Ireland. Welcome, Ms. Ireland.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Brenda Ireland. I coordinate the sexual assault program at St. Joe's Medical Center. We treat between 60 and 80 sexual assault patients per year, consisting of men, women, and children. For every sexual assault patient that presents to the hospital, we call stepping stones. They are there day and night. We have a wonderful working relationship with them, and they are there to advocate for and connect with our patients in ways that have a profound impact on their lives from that moment forward. Once the patient has left the hospital, there are knowledge and support gaps that need to be filled, and Stepping Stones fills that gap. The advocacy and psychiatric support that they provide to these patients and these survivors is an integral part of their healing process. Sexual assault is a violent crime, and it removes power and control from another person. Stepping Stones empowers these survivors and helps them take control of their life. There is nowhere else in the region that provides this type of wraparound service to assist survivors in their healing journey. When survivors are empowered and supported, they are more likely to cooperate with law enforcement, which in turn can increase prosecution rates and make our community safer. They also have lower rates of PTSD, depression, anxiety, and physical comorbidities that go along with being the subject of a violent crime, and this leads to less hospital visits and doctor's visits over the course of their healing process. On a personal note, when I was on active duty in the Army 15 years ago, I was sexually assaulted. I had no support. In fact, I was told to keep my mouth shut and that I deserved it. Unfortunately, this is not an uncommon narrative of survivors. This has impacted me for the last 15 years. It stole years of my life from me, and for years I have suffered mental and physical fallout from this interaction. If I had received the support such as what Stepping Stones provides, I likely would have been able to heal and begin supporting survivors much sooner than I did. The advocacy and behavioral health support provided to these patients is necessary, and the way that Stepping Stones provides it to these services is unmatched. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ireland. We have Beverly Byer. Welcome, Ms. Byer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Beverly Byer, and I have the honor of serving as the chair of the board of YWCA McLean County, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. Sexual violence weakens the basic pillars of safety and trust in our community. Sexual violence can derail a person's life and the lives of all of those around them. With disrupted education and employment, a survivor of sexual assaults loses more than $241,000 over the course of their lifetime. In addition, they incur over the course of their lifetime more than $120,000 in costs. This is just a small part of the price that they pay. We can't measure all the contributions, all the achievements that they will never make because of what happened to them. But what we can do is we can support them to heal and to live fully. Please consider and remember, as you're thinking about the funding request before you this evening, 3 things. 1, YWCA McLean County Stepping Stones provides a crisis response. This is a stated need in the county's mental health action plan. Number 2, YWCA McLean County is the only certified rape crisis center for our community. It's the only place where their counselors have the expertise and the specialized training to support survivors when they're ready to come forward, it's the only place that's there for them that's going to be ready. And number 3, last year, YWCA McLean County served more than 100 children who'd experienced sexual violence. That's more than 100 kids in our community. We want that support to be there when someone picks up the phone. Thank you for serving on the McLean County Board. You have so many difficult decisions to make. You have a really hard job. Voting to fund counseling for sexual assault survivors should be an easy decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Byer. Our final speaker is Liz German. Welcome, Ms.
Hi.
German.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Like she said, I'm Liz German. I'm the CEO and President at YWCA McLean County. And I just want to, I don't want to repeat anything anybody else has said, but just give a little bit of a logistical background about our request. With just a few weeks' notice, Stepping Stones funding decreased by more than $325,000 beginning in July of '23. Upon sharing news of these cuts and their impact, we were invited to present to the Behavioral Health Coordinating Council in September, and at that point, we had a waiting list of 65 individuals for counseling. During the summer and fall, we secured 2 additional grants, a total of $180,000, and this restored some staff capacity, but not all. When the BHCC's NOFO was released in December, our waiting list was 35. However, it's important to note that we saw at least a 70% attrition due to clients being put on a waiting list, meaning when we started to call clients, many were no longer in a place to start services because of the wait that they experienced. This type of counseling needs to be available the moment survivors are ready. Without it, people struggle and cope in unhealthy ways. And in addition, with new assaults and hospital calls, it's important we be able to serve survivors through regular counseling immediately after the assault. We understand that we are the only agency that responded to the NOFO, which makes sense because we are the county's certified rape crisis center. We are the agency best positioned and trained to meet the crisis needs, and this funding will restore our counseling and hotline capacity, as well as volunteer stipends, which also help support our hotline. Our professionally trained volunteers assist with the hotline during evening and weekend hours, as well as staff. Our crisis hotline is available for any reason connected to sexual violence, such as an emotional crisis or a recent assault, or assistance in reporting or getting services. Stepping Stone's role as a certified rape crisis center means that we are best positioned to serve survivors for many reasons. We have the highest level of confidentiality in the state, which is called absolute privilege. Anything our clients share is protected from being given to anyone outside of the Rape Crisis Center, including during court. Clients should work with counselors within the center to ensure that absolute privilege is maintained. And in addition, our counselors receive specialized training in counseling survivors of sexual violence. This gives our clients the safest possible place to work on healing from their trauma without fear, and I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. We will move to number 7, and that is a presentation, and that's by the Farnsworth Group, and they are going to do a presentation on the proposed animal control building. Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? All right. Hi, I'm Michael Burgess. I'm with Farnsworth Group. Thanks for the introduction. I'm also here today with John Bishop and Aaron Neal Associates. Aaron Neal will be responsible for all the nice images and renderings you see today. But of course, the design itself is the result of many months worth of collaboration between ourselves, Animal Arts, which is an animal expert design firm out of Colorado, Core Construction, who has provided pre-design services in terms of cost estimation and some constructability advice, and the stakeholders with McLean County and McLean County Animal Control. I'm just going to walk you through some things real quick. If you have any questions at any time, feel free. I don't know the procedures. You can ask me now or after I'm done. That's up to you. So the facility itself, as its final design came in, actually, can you go back or forward one slide, Dan? Is there a site plan in here as well? There we go. Thank you. The final building is around 11,300 square feet, and it sits on a site of about 10.3 acres off Highway 34, which is unincorporated in McLean County, about 15 minutes south of Bloomington. Here's the site as it stands right now, and a Google aerial view to the right. You can see it's a Sylvian farmland site that's surrounded by trees on the south and the east and the west. North is up on the plan. So the final building will be nestled in this U shape of trees, making a very nice environment for the staff and for the animals. As you see in the site there as well, we have, besides around the building, parking lots, support structures. To the left is detention pond, and to the south is a septic field. Next image, please. Building itself, here, you enter it from the south and the center. There is the lobby, which is the public space. From there, the door to north of there are two corridors, which I could call controlled public area. That's where the public can go with escorts from McLean County to view animals and dogs up for adoption. To the right there in the orange are the cat condos, which are the kitties that are up for adoption. And to the north of there, the two big areas, dog adoption. There's also a small dog to the left in blue as well. Beyond those spaces are the private or back house spaces, which include everything from up above there, dog isolation, quarantine, and stray dog holdings, a sally port for vehicles and unloading and loading. There's also shelter treatment rooms. In the center of the facility, we have laundry, feeding, janitorial, more bathrooms. Along the left side there, in the orange, with the cat isolation holding areas, the cat's not available for viewing or adoption. And finally, at the bottom left is the offices. Break rooms, private offices, shared work areas, and then back to the lobby. And that's about the course we're going to take here as we do a walkthrough. I'm going to try to stop it in places to give you a view as we can. Go ahead and start, Dan. Here's your view as you fly down, but you'll eventually get down to car level as you're entering through the tree line from Highway 34 to the building. As you can see, it's set back from the road some, enjoying some privacy from the traffic there. One story, 10,300 square feet. Employee parking was straight ahead. This would be the visitor parking area. There. Thanks. Real quick, so here's the main entrance. Signage out front, a canopy, it's welcoming. I'll take this opportunity to say too that this model that the images are generated from was first made for construction documents, being most efficient with the taxpayers' money. We did that. Secondarily, it is being used now for communication purposes and to give you a general idea of what thing looks like, but it is not a marketing image. Colors didn't necessarily render. Some of the equipment inside, is still a work in progress, but Aaron did a great job with the time we had to prepare this. So, continue. Go through the main vestibule into the lobby. Stop in just a minute. Stop. There's the front lobby area with the reception desk to greet you. Toilet room off to the right. Center bottom there, you'll see a little doggy drinking bowl. Just want to point that out so that even they get the drink in the lobby. Okay, continue. From there, after you're greeted, you can be buzzed or escorted through the door to my right there to the controlled public area, these hallways. This area, here are the cat condo spaces. They also have plenty of natural light. And from here, you can also see the windows into the dog adoption areas. Stop for a moment. So you can see there are cages in there so that families and whatnot and employees can take a look at there without having to enter the room, which sometimes can be a little off-putting noise of dogs barking, and can view dogs up for adoption from those windows. Continue, please. Colors are selected for the comfort of the animals, as well as sound reduction panels on the walls to try to keep the noise down. This is a small dog area off to the left. More dog adoption. Then through this door into the private or back of house areas. More dog kennels. These are, again, the dog isolation, stray dogs, dog quarantine areas. They'll have doors to the outside where they can be taken for their outside time. This one has a direct access to the sally port area, and stop. This is where the vehicles would be stored, where animals would leave and enter the facility, and continue through the overhead doors to the right. From here, 2 double doors enter the main facility and have good access to this room, the shelter treatment room, where they can be examined and determine where to go, how healthy they are. This room also has direct access to the cat isolation areas. Again, cats that are not healthy enough or for another reason cannot be in the adoption area. Now I've entered the administrative area, which has a break room at the end of the hallway. Stop for a moment. As I mentioned, it's got lots of natural light. It's got a door at the outside. Should there be like a picnic table out there? Because the mental health of the employees is very important, right? They have to deal with a lot of stress and a lot of trauma on a daily basis. So we try to give them as much as we could. The budget allows a space where they can get away from that and recharge and can go back to doing their duties properly. Continue. Here we have a couple of private offices. Shared office area. Workroom, copy room. The back of the reception area, where someone here could come out to greet someone if they needed to. The project is under bid right now, and we hope to, in less than a month, have all the parts of the project under contract for construction. Questions?
We have a board member, Solner, has a question.
Thank you. I didn't see anything. Are there any outdoor animal runs or kennels or anything like that? And this is a little touchy, I guess. What do we do for sanitation as far as waste disposal and that type of thing?
The outdoor runs are planned for a future phase of the project. Budget constraints, we tried to do as much as we could that needed to be done under this contract, and that was a scope that can be done in an isolated future contract. But they are definitely planned, and they'll be welcome when they are built.
Okay.
And the waste disposal, that's a larger question. I will say that, I'm not sure which part of it you're referring to, but we have, the septic field actually has 2 different sanitary systems, one for animal and one for human waste. That's a requirement. Is that what you're referring to? Or are you
Yeah.
referring? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop there then.
Thank you.
And I believe our chairman, Friedrich, has a question.
Yes. Are you aware of the Ameren transmission line that's going down County Highway 36?
I am aware that we are making use of it, yes. My electrical engineer had the most conversations with them. Sorry, our highway 34 or?
County Highway 34 to the
Yes.
south of you.
Yes.
And the line is altered a little bit. Do you know anything about that?
I do not know anything about that. It was not under our request.
Okay, okay. I love dogs and cats, but animal control, where do you do with the wild animals like raccoons or do you have a portion in that office for them? And/or any large animals?
There are spaces within the facility that there's flex rooms and other space, temporary holding spaces that can be used for non-dog and non-cat animals. I would have to leave to animal control how they deal with the larger animals. That was outside this project scope. Yes.
Any additional questions from the board? Ms. Bell.
Yes. What kind of flooring are you going to be using? Are the floors going to be heated? And are you using any carpet in any of the areas? Because carpet holds dirt, mold, and so forth.
So the question is about the floor finishes in the facility? Yeah, the question is what floor finishes are used throughout the facility? In the office area, I believe we have vinyl tile, vinyl plank flooring. That is it. We have some sealed concrete in some back house spaces. And, sorry, the primary floor is sealed concrete with areas that are getting washed down, like the dog adoption areas, and mostly the dog facilities, have a resinous floor covering that goes up 8 inches on the wall and gets tooled into the CMU walls so that there's no seams, no crevices, no place for germs to hide for sanitary reasons.
Any additional questions? Member Tompkins.
Yes, sir. Are there any unique ventilation requirements for the number of animals that are in the facility?
There are plenty of, unique requirements, and we've risen to that challenge. There is a lot of keeping, we have, I can't remember what it ended up like, 4 or 5 different air handler units, and there's strict separation between sick animals, not sick animals, animals and humans, so we don't have cross-contamination of illnesses and don't have cross-contamination of smells for the people that are working there as well.
Any additional questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. We appreciate that, and we look forward to continued progress on this. And Tony Grant, thank you for your assistance on this project also.
Thank you.
We'll go to number 8 on our agenda, and that's a presentation by the Illinois Extension Update. And I think Katie Buckley is here for us. Welcome, Ms. Buckley.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Buckley. I'm with the University of Illinois Extension Office serving Livingston, McLean, and Woodford counties. I come to you tonight with a few updates from your local Extension office. I'm pleased to say we're fully staffed with Extension educators, a total of 7, 6 supported by the McLean County Board. I hired 2 educators to fill vacancies, one for Family Life, Sarah Addick, and a Natural Resources, Energy, and Environment is Darcy Weber. I still have 3 vacancies that need to be filled. One is for an Ag and Natural Resource Program Coordinator. Interviews will be starting soon. A Natural Resources, Energy, and Environment Program Coordinator that just posted today, and a Unity Program Coordinator, which I've already put a request in to hire, so that person should be starting here within the next few weeks. The Extension Council County Board will meet on March 26th to discuss the levy. Some programming updates that are going on right now. 4-H has a current enrollment of 474 active 4-H members, 82 Clover Buds, and 110 volunteers. And I'll just say that 4-H members are ages 8 to 18, and Clover Bud members are ages 5 to 7. We have 4 school robotics programs running right now at Towanda Grove, Benjamin, and Pepper Ridge. Next year, we're looking to expand to more schools, particularly in the rural areas and in District 87. In early February, we hosted Learn and Fun Day at Trinity Lutheran School and had 120 youth participate. We are getting ready to kick off everyone's favorite 4-H event in schools known as Check It Out, in partnership with Ag in the Classroom. We have 96 classrooms represented from across McLean County. There's a lot of school programming going on right now with our Star Lab, which is a mobile planetarium. March 27th, we'll host an event at the McLean County Fairgrounds called Clovers in Space, the Eclipse Edition. I believe there's a flyer in your packet I left at your seats. We'll be hosting a trash bash around Earth Day at Lake Bloomington. And Livestock Learn and Fun Day will happen at Woodford County Farm Bureau Park on the 27th of April, and that's a tri-county event. Our Family Life educator, who started in December, has done 2 poverty simulations at Cedar Ridge and Lexington schools. This gives participants a real-life look at what living in poverty is like. And she has also scheduled upcoming programming at Hayworth Library, Carlock Library, and Danvers Library. Our horticulture educator has been busy. She has 78 current Master Gardener volunteers, 14 new Master Gardener interns from our fall training. Home Lawn and Garden Day was hosted in early March at Bloomington Central Catholic with 250 participants. Giving Gardens will launch soon, which is a program where it's a twofold process where we're trying to get more community members active in growing their own food, as well as to fill gaps with food security for those that are not able to receive fresh fruits or fresh vegetables. We've added a partnership with the McLean County Law and Justice Center and have added a Hispanic crops kit. Earth Day kits will go out to 73 classrooms and will include take-home activities as well as hands-on activities that teach about environmental issues. Our local foods and small farms educator has hosted a Bloomington Normal seed swap at the Normal Public Library, a sourdough bread 101 with 20 participants, and last year donated 2,050 pounds of produce from the Unity Community Center garden. Our natural resources, energy, and environment educator who just started March 1st, so she doesn't have a whole lot of reporting to do yet, but she has 67 Master Naturalist volunteers. Our nutrition and wellness educator has been busy with 8 dimensions of wellness at the ARC in Normal, comfort food makeover at Living Well United in Leroy, Vivre Bien Con La Diabetes at Community Health Care Clinic, and Certified Food Protection Manager training at Heartland Community College. Our SNAP Ed program, which is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is federally funded, has school programming at Cedar Ridge, Bent, Prairie Central, Parkside, and Oakdale schools. This program runs a little bit different than our traditional programs we run in Extension because it is a federally funded program. We are only able to go in those schools that are deemed an income-based based on what is given to the schools at the time. Community partners are Bread for Life Co-op, Western Avenue, Urban Apartments, Chestnut Health Systems, Lincoln Towers, and Dreams Are Possible. Our Unity Community Center currently have 25 youth who attend the program regularly. Community partnerships from programming from Children's Discovery Museum, Illinois Art Station, Normal Public Library, Junior Achievement, SNAP Ed, Illinois Wesleyan Chemistry Club, Illinois State Chemistry Club, and the McLean County History Museum. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you for your
Member
time.
Hanson,
Oh,
he
sorry.
does have a question for you.
Not so much a question as a comment, and I just want to, as a very, very proud 4-H alumnus of McLean County, we see the work that you're doing, and you're doing fantastic work. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, Member Byrne.
So just to echo that, I am a teacher at one of the schools that you mentioned, and as someone who's familiar with the poverty that's in that neighborhood and in that environment, the work and the effort of 4-H is very, very helpful. So thank you for the continued work.
Any other comments or questions for Ms. Buckley? Seeing none, thank you very much, and we wish you the best for continued success.
Sure. If you have any questions about the packets I left at your stations, I left a business card. Feel free to reach out via email. I'll be more than happy to answer those. Thank you.
We'll move to the consent agenda, and we have a number of items on the consent agenda, and I need a motion to put that on the floor. We have a motion by Chair Klein and a second by our Vice Chair Johnston. And did we have an abstention? No? All right. So, yes, Mr. Erickson, Chair Erickson.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. I would like to pull off the consent item 9E1A.
9E1A is request approval of a contract with the YWCA McLean County Stepping Stone. That will move to the Executive Committee under Vice Chair Johnston, and that'll be 10A1D. And we also have D is a transfer that requires a 2/3 majority board approval. So does anybody have an abstention on that item? All right, seeing none. All in favor of the amended request, consent agenda, say aye. Opposed? That motion passes. So we are moving to 9G, and that is approval and resolutions and congratulations and commendations. And believe we have an Eagle Scout here that we want to recognize. And Member Went is going to do a presentation, and I believe it's Jonathan Kunkies, is that right? Very good. If you would like to join Member Went at the microphone.
This is a real privilege for me to be up here and giving recognition to a Eagle Scout. But before we start, his family is here, and I'd like to have them stand up so we can see his family, Nick and Teresa and River, and of course Jonathan, the four of them. And I want to tell you a little bit about their family and what they've gone through the last couple of years. There used to be 5 of them. River is a twin. Rose, her sister, when Jonathan was 14 and the girls were 7, I believe, Rose came down with a sore throat. They took Rose to the doctor. They determined that was strep throat. They took her home. She didn't get any better. They took her back to the doctor. He gave her a stronger antibiotic. They went home. She didn't get better. They took her to the emergency room here in Bloomington. And I know we're going to have problems here, but I want you to know they took her there. They worked on her there, and it was determined that they needed to take her up to the bigger hospital in Peoria. So they airlifted that little girl to Peoria. She did make one comment to her mother. She wanted to make sure her mother went with her in the plane. They worked on her up there, unfortunately passed. So this is kind of what's happened with this family in the past year. Now, the one thing that occurred for Rose, the Boy Scouts have what they call the Spirit of the Eagle. And this is for younger scouts who pass before they can attain the Eagle Scout. And she was awarded this, and they had a ceremony for that at the Second Presbyterian Church, and over 100 people attended, and River got to accept the award for her sister, Rose. So this is what the family's been through. During this period of time, this young man was working on getting his Eagle Scout. Now, I don't know if you know this, but 2 things about the Eagle Scout. Number 1, he's just 15 years old right now, and he's an Eagle Scout. The average age of Eagle Scouts when they get it is 17 years and 4 months. He's pretty young to be an Eagle Scout. Now, then one of the things that the Eagle Scouts have to do besides getting all these badges, I think he's got 32 on there, they have to do a community project. And what Jonathan chose was an outdoor classroom for Pepper Ridge. This is the elementary school that they all went to. And so he dedicated that to his sister. And you'll hear a little bit more about that when I read this citation. But I'm very proud of this family. They have really done a great job of getting through this and still being positive. And little River, I think River is ready to go. I know that. Now, I will read the McLean County Board resolution of congratulations. The McLean County Board wishes to recognize Jonathan on earning the rank of Eagle Scout, which is only attained by 2% of the scouts that start out, which is amazing. Jonathan is in Troop 19, chartered out of the St. Luke's Union Church in Bloomington. He's been a scout for 10 years, and he has made the different levels of scout. Number one was being a scout, then tenderfoot, second class, first class, star, and then life. And of course, now he's ended his career with Eagle Scout. I don't think you can get any higher than that, can you? And Jonathan also earned, well, this is a little not historical, it says 22, but he's got 32 of them on him right now. So he's earned a few more than 22 merits. Now, whereas Jonathan dedicated the Eagle Scout project to his young sister who passed away, whereas that project actually became the #1 project in the Scout district that he belongs to. Be it resolved that the County Board of McLean County, Illinois, and the citizens of McLean County extend congratulations to you, Jonathan, and for attaining such a high honor. And we want to give you this for a keepsake. And thank you. If you've got anything to say, just move up there. I'll say one more thing before you go. His mother said to me, before all of this occurred, he was very scared to get up and talk in front of people. But she says now he enjoys it, I think.
Yes. It is an honor to receive this award, and it is an honor to be up here right now. So I appreciate your time. It was an honor to give back to Pepper Ridge by building that outdoor classroom for them. And I wouldn't have been able to get here without scouting. So I extend my thanks to everybody, and especially to Mr. Wint here.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It's quite an honor to have you with us today. We're going to go to 9G, National Ag Day, and Member Reeves, I believe you have an accommodation or congratulations on that. So.
McLean County Board Proclamation dated March 19th, 2024. Whereas National Ag Day is an opportunity to celebrate all farmers, workers, ranchers, fishers, foresters, and other agricultural workers who grow food, fuel our economy, and steward our lands. Whereas National Ag Day has been celebrated since 1973 and proclamated annually by each U.S. sitting president. Whereas National Ag Day encourages everyone to learn about where their food comes from and the farmers who grow it, appreciate their role in agriculture, and provide safe, abundant, affordable feed, fuel, and fiber. Acknowledge the essential role of agriculture in maintaining a strong economy and protecting our environment, considering the wide range of career opportunities in agriculture. Whereas Illinois accounts for more than 67,500 farms, 96% of which family farms, whereas McLean County agriculture contributes $1.6 billion to the economic viability annually and supports 5,596 jobs. And whereas McLean County farmers grew more corn and soybeans than any other county in the nation in 2023, as well as providing a variety of livestock and specialty crops. Now therefore be it resolved, McLean County Board thanks farmers, our local agricultural businesses, and their contributions to our local communities, and be it further resolved by the McLean County Board that March 19th, 2024, designated as National Agricultural Day in McLean County. Adopted, McLean County Board, March 14th, 2024.
And I believe we have Brian Dirks with us today. If Mr. Dirks wants to say a few words, we'd be happy to.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the County Board. I am Brian Dirks, President of McLean County Farm Bureau. And on behalf of our members and the ag community, farmers and landowners, I'd like to thank you for recognizing and supporting our ag community. Like Adam said, it is my pleasure, again, to recognize McLean County as the #1 corn and soybean production, not in Illinois, but in the nation, second year in a row. So we have, this is something we should be proud of, our McLean County. Thank you.
We continue on this agricultural focus, and we have a Teacher Ag Award, and I believe we have Susan, Chair Schaefer, and Member Roseman Mendoza, and they're going to do a presentation for Amanda Stanko.
Thank you. Since 1917, U.S. legislation has recognized agriculture as a key component in Illinois education in order to enhance the social, economic, and environmental well-being of the state. Agriculture is singularly the most important industry in Illinois. Skilled teachers and an adequate supply of instruction in school STEM programs can ensure the success in agricultural professional opportunities such as environmental science, agribusiness, natural resources, food science, ag mechanics, biotechnology, animal and plant sciences, as well as ag production and horticulture. Early education in agriculture introduces students to their environment and nutritional resources. Ms. Amanda Stanko is an exemplary example recognizing how an educator can benefit our local communities. Amanda Stanko from Corpus Christi Schools is the Illinois 2024 National Agriculture in the Classroom Agriculture in the Classroom Teacher of the Year award winner. Through her and teachers like her, students will gain a greater awareness of the role agriculture plays in our society as they explore agriculture through their math, science, technology, and engineering. Thank you to the teachers that give our students introductions so that they can join programs like 4-H through the University of Illinois Extension and FFA, the Future Farmers of America. Thank you.
I get the easy part. I got to read all these words. The McLean County Board Resolution of Congratulations recognizing Amanda Stanko as the 2024 National Excellence in Teaching About Agriculture Award recipient. Whereas Amanda Stanko, as a STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math teacher at Corpus Christi School in Bloomington, works with over 275 kindergarten through 6th grade students. Whereas Amanda Stanko was nominated by the McLean County Farm Bureau and received recognition as the 2024 Illinois Agriculture in the Classroom Teacher of the Year by the Illinois Farm Bureau. Whereas Amanda Stanko was selected from a group of state nominees to receive a 2024 National Excellence in Teaching About Agriculture Award. And whereas this prestigious award, conferred by the National Agriculture in the Classroom program, honors Ms. Stanko for her outstanding work in teaching agricultural concepts as part of her curriculum. And whereas the National Excellence in Teaching About Agriculture Award recognizes Ms. Stanko for challenging non-ag students to think outside the box, utilizing real-world problems and solutions. And whereas Amanda Stanko incorporates a variety of agricultural topics in hands-on, project-based learning including Adopt a Cow program for kindergartners and a growing giving garden at the school that supports learning and community service. Now therefore be resolved that this McLean County Board and the citizens of McLean County extend their congratulations to Amanda Stanko for her contributions to her students, school, and community, and be it further resolved that the McLean County Board hereby directs the county clerk to prepare a certified copy of this resolution to be presented with our sincere congratulations, adopted by the McLean County Board this 14th day of March 2024. Congratulations.
I can teach 275 kids, no problem, but if I'm going to stand in front of a couple adults, I need to have a piece of paper to read from. Sorry. Thank you so much for this recognition. It's an honor to represent Illinois Ag in the Classrooms program, the McLean County Farm Bureau, and the City of Bloomington. Without programs like Ag in the Classroom and grants from generous institutions like the McLean County Farm Bureau, my STEM program would not be possible. I am so grateful to them for their support and assistance. Their generosity enables my 275 students opportunities to learn where their food is coming from and how agriculture impacts their community. It assists in the development of our giving garden, which supplies produce not only for our school, but for our local food bank, St. Vincent de Paul. In short, their support allows me to teach hands-on, meaningful, and experiential lessons to my students that I hope will serve them not just today in my classroom, but as future citizens of our great county. Thank you again for this recognition and for your time.
Congratulations. Thank you for joining us. We are moving to our standing committees, and that takes us to the first standing committee, and that's 10A Executive Committee, and that's Vice Chair Elizabeth Johnston.
Thank you, Chair Schaefer, or I'm sorry.
It's
Too much
awesome.
health department. Thank you, Chair Metzger. The Executive Committee brings 4 items for action today. Item number 1 is 10A1A, and that is request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation. This is our end of year, and it does require 2/3. And I so move.
I need a second. We have a second by Member Hanson. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the emergency appropriation for the end of the year for Executive Committee for 2023 Combined Annual Appropriation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And back to you, Vice Chair.
Up next, we have item 10A1B, and that is request approval of an ordinance amending the McLean County Code, Chapter 108. This is Personnel Policies and Procedures, and I so move.
I need a second on that. We have a second by Member Byrne. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the ordinance amending the McLean County Code, Chapter 108, Personnel Policies and Procedures, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Vice Chair, you have the floor again.
Thank you. Up next, we have item 10A1C, and that is request approval of an intergovernmental agreements with the Village of Aerosmith, Village of Colfax, Village of Cooksville, Village of Hudson, and City of Lexington for ARPA funding, and I so move.
I need a second for that. I have a second by Member Reeves. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the intergovernmental agreements with the villages of Aerosmith, Colfax, Cooksville, Hudson, and Lexington, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And Vice Chair, you have the floor again.
All right, our last item for action is item 10A1D. This is request approval of a contract with YWCA McLean County Stepping Stones, and I so move.
And we have a second. We have a second by Member Bell. Any comments? It looks like we will start with Chair Erickson.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. At the Executive Committee meeting when this came up, I had asked several questions about this. And the day after, I had received an email from a reporter wanting to know what my questions were. On Wednesday, had the opportunity, I believe, to talk to Liz Germain. I believe she's with the YWCA. And I was able to converse with her about some of the questions that I had about this. I'll start off by saying that the mayor of a large city in the United States said recently that our hearts are endless, but our resources are not. As you can tell tonight, we have a lot of demands on the resources of the taxpayers of McLean County, including a new animal control building, which you may have saw. So that is one of the demands on our resources. When I spoke with Ms. Germain, she basically laid out the story for me as being, okay, we had funding, we lost our funding. We need a stopgap measure to fill our need while we continue to look for other sources of funding. I believe that's the correct answer she gave me, and she said they were going to continue to look for other sources of funding, and I would encourage them to do so. I will be voting in favor of this tonight, but I wanted to explain that the reason I had those questions is because I think that if the press is going to accurately report on that, they should look at paragraph 7 of that agreement. This is not a gift of $100,000 to the YWCA. As I understand it, they have to provide certain work, they have to provide invoices to the county, and we'll give them money up to $100,000. So paragraph 7 says that. So this was not a grant of $100,000 to them. We were willing to give them up to $100,000 if they need it, while they continue to look for other sources of funding. And then the contract terminates at the end of the year and will be readdressed at that time. So I'll be voting in favor of it. Thank you.
Any other comments? Looks like Member Solner.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So it seems like the first thing we have to do, or I have to do, is say that I will support this this piece of funding or whatever. But I do want to make sure that people also know that I am a supporter of the Stepping Stones and of the work that they do. So my only comment was that I listened to the Behavioral Health Coordinating Council. I think they met on Friday when this was discussed. And I heard discussion on the lack of funding. I heard discussion on what good work they did, but I didn't hear any discussion on the financial side of it. As far as whether there was money, any other money that could be used for this. So I got the report, the financial report from the YWCA, and it appears they do have money. Now, I don't know whether this program is allowed to get money or borrow money or receive money from the YWCA, but between their assets, their current assets and their endowment funds, they have almost $3.5 million. So again, I'm going to support this, but I just want to make sure that we understand that whenever we look at any other group that wants money, we have to look at their finances. So again, maybe there's no way they can use any of this money, but I just wanted to bring it to our attention. So thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Member Bell.
I will be voting yes for this, and I'll tell you why. In a perfect world, you go to the hospital after you've been raped. In a perfect world, you contact the police, they come to your home. Well, a lot of times when I was working late at night at 2 and 3 in the morning in Uptown Normal, those people walked into the station. They were a drain on the station at that time, but we took them in. We got people to help them before they even got to the hospital to do a rape kit. So if you want to talk about putting a drain on the community, there are people out there helping people that don't go directly to the hospital. So I will be voting yes, because everybody is trying to do their jobs. That's all I would like to say.
Member Byrne.
Thank you, Chair. We're hearing a lot of discussion about finances and numbers, and it is very important in our role to be financial stewards. But for my part, I'm very proud that a McLean County Board can partner with YWCA and what is about the most essential service. We're talking about 35 people right now, I believe was the number on the waiting list, who are waiting for services, following some of the most horrific things that could happen to certain people in their lives. And to prioritize animal control or other things which are very important over that, I think our priorities might be a little bit misplaced, and I think we need to prioritize what can we do directly to help the most people immediately in our community. And with an organization like YWCA Stepping Stones that needs that help so acutely and so immediately, I'm proud of our ability to stepping into it, and I'll be voting yes on it.
Any other comments? Vice Chair Johnston?
Thank you. I just want to open with the fact that we built the BHCC to break down silos and to create a plan to help people in the community and to work together. And that's something that I saw happen in February at the BHCC meeting. I saw it happen again just last week. And I'm very grateful that we're in a position. We have funding partners that have brought money to our table so that we can provide for these services. I understand that this is a temporary measure and that they are working to restore that funding. But when an agency was in trouble, the rest of the group stepped up and supported their sister agency. So I will be voting in favor of this as well.
Anyone else? Seeing no other comments or questions, all in favor of the request approval of a contract with the YWCA McLean County Stepping Stones, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No opposition. That motion passes. And the floor is again yours, Vice Chair Johnston.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. We have no other items to present. We have our general report and the unapproved minutes. We have stand-up from last month on page 28, and the exec meeting minutes are on 29 through 36. And I'd answer any questions.
Thank you very much. We're going to 10B, Finance Committee, and we have Chairman William Friedrich, and he has a number of items, and these items also require the 2/3 approval, and so if there are dissenting votes, we need to know that. And the floor is yours, Chairman Friedrich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Finance Committee brings 2 action items before full board. Those items are 10B1A, and it reads, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the General Fund 0001, Animal Control Department 0032, Animal Control, pages 180 through 182, and I so move.
And I need a second. We have a second by Member Lehman, or Chair Lehman. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're voting on the emergency appropriation for the combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for General Fund 0001, Animal Control, Department 0032, Animal Control. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And you have the floor again, Chairman Friedrich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our second item is item 10B1B, and it reads, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, end of year, pages 183 through 187, and I so move.
And I need a second. We have a second by Member Schaefer, or Chair Schaefer. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, we're voting on the emergency appropriation for McLean County fiscal year 2023 annual appropriation and budget ordinance, and this is for the end of the year. And all in favor of that, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes, and you have the floor again, Chairman Friedrich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Finance brings no other action items. Our general report can be found on the unapproved minutes, pages 10 through 19, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We are moving to 10C, Health Committee, and that's Chairman Susan Schaefer. And she also has, all these items require a 2/3 approval, and so we would need to know if there are any dissenting votes. So the floor is yours, Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. If it is all right with the chairman, if we can combine 10C1, A, B, and C together?
I believe that is an appropriate request. Granted.
Thank you. 10C1A is request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 105 with the Health Department. 10C1B is request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation budget ordinance for Fund 106 with the Health Department. And 10C1C is request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County budget fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 110 and the Health Department, and I so move.
I need a second. I have a second by Member Knapp. Any questions or comments? So we are going to be voting on the request approval of emergency appropriation ordinances amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 for Fund 0105 Health Department, 0106 Health Department, and 0110 Health Department. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And the floor is again yours, Chairman Schaefer.
10C1D is request approval and emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation budget ordinance for Fund 112 in the Health Department, and I so move.
And I need a second. We have a second by Member Abel. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, this is for the request of approval of the emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 annual appropriation budget for Fund 0112 Health Department. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And Chairman Schaefer, you again.
10C1E is request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance end of year, and I so move.
And I need a second for that. We have a second by Member Klein, or Chair Klein. All in favor of the request of approval of the emergency appropriations ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 end of the year, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And Chairman Schaefer?
That is all the Health Committee has for action, and our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes packet.
Thank you very much. We will move to 10D, Justice Committee, and Chairman Chuck Erickson.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. The Justice Committee brings 3 items for action. The first item is item 10D1A, request approval of a grant agreement between the State of Illinois, Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, and McLean County, SAO agreement number 22046 with a link provided in the packet, and I so move.
And I need a second on that. I have a second by Member Tompkins. Any questions? Seeing none, the request approval of a grant agreement between the State of Illinois, Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, and McLean County SAO, Agreement 222046. Say aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And Chairman Erickson, you have the floor again.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. Next item for action is item 10D1B, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean, the Village of Carlock, and the McLean County Sheriff, and I so move.
I need a second. We have a second by Member Hanson. All questions? So we have a request of approval of that intergovernmental agreement between McLean County, the Village of Carlock, and the McLean County Sheriff. Say aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And Chairman Erickson, your last one will require a 2/3 majority vote. So you have the floor again.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. Final item for action is item 10D1C, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, and I so move.
And may I have a second? We have a second by Member Bloomfield. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we're doing the request of the emergency appropriation ordinance amending McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget. Say aye. Opposed? That motion passes, and you have the floor again, Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. The Justice Committee has no other items for action, and our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Chair Val Lehman, 10E, the Property Committee. And I believe you have 2 items that also require the 2/3 majority vote of the county.
I do. Thank you very much, Chair Metzger. So the Property Committee does have the 2 items for action this evening, starting with item number 10E1A. That's a request approval for the emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for end of year, and I so move.
And I need a second. We have a second by Vice Chair Johnston. Any questions? We're going to vote on the emergency appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year 2023, end of the year. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And Chair Lehman, you have the floor again.
Thank you very much. Item number 10E1B is going to be the request approval of the emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, and this one is for the Fairview Building, and I so move.
And we need a second on that. We have a second by Member Byrne. Any questions? Seeing none, we have request approval of the emergency appropriation for McLean County fiscal year 2024, and that's for the Fairview Building. And all in favor of that, say aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. And Chair Lehman.
Thank you very much, Chair Metzger. The Property Committee has no other items to be presented for action this evening. Items to be presented for information can be found in our general report, pages number 24 to 27 of the unapproved minutes packet, and I can answer any questions.
Very good, thank you. We are moving to 10F, and that's Land Use and Development Committee, and we have Chair Leah Klein.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I'm the lucky winner this evening. I have no items to present for action, and we don't even have a general report, so, but I'm always happy to answer questions.
Thank you very much. We will go to Transportation 10G and Chairman Jim Rogal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Transportation Committee brings 4 items for action today. 10G1A is request approval of an Illinois Department of Transportation FY 2025 Section 5311 formula application for rural areas operating assistance. There's a link in the packet, and I so move.
And I need a second on that. A second by Chair Lehman. Any questions? This is Show Bus again, and we had, as you know, we had the hearing first thing this afternoon. All in favor of the request for an Illinois Department of Transportation IDOT FY25 Section 5311, and that's for rural areas operating assistance, say aye. Opposed? That motion passes, and Chairman Rogal, you have the floor again.
Yes, the next item is 10G1B, request approval of an IDOT FY 2025 Downstate Operating Assistance Program application for rural areas, with another link to the document in the packet, and I so move.
And may I have a second on that? We have a second by Member Bell. Any questions? Seeing none, request approval of the IDOT fiscal year 2025 Downstate Operating Assistance Program for rural areas. Say aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And Chairman Rogel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 10G1C, request approval of a purchase of service agreement between McLean County and Showbus for rural public transportation in FY 2025, and I so move.
And a second on that, please. We have a second by Chair Klein. No questions or comments? All right. We have the purchase of the service agreement between McLean County and Showbus for rural public transportation for fiscal year 2025. Say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And Member Rogel.
Our last item for action is 10G1D, request approval of a revised vehicle lease agreement between McLean County and Showbus, and I so move.
And I need a second on that. We have a second by Member Reeves. And any questions? Seeing none, we have the approval of the revised vehicle lease agreement between McLean County and Showbus. Say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And you have the floor again, Chairman Rogel.
The Transportation Committee has no other items for action. Our meeting minutes can be found on pages 2 through 5 of the unapproved minute packet.
Thank you very much. We will move to 10H, and that is County Administrator Cassie Taylor.
Thank you, Chair Metzger. I have no items to present to the committee, or excuse me, to the full board this evening.
All right, thank you. And do we have any members of the public or county employees in reference to an item not on the agenda? Don't believe we have any. But we do have, I'd like to introduce Tony Grant again. He wants to provide a little bit of insight. We are still working diligently on the bead challenge. So if you want to go ahead and provide a little bit of insight on that.
Thank you, Chair. This is the last week that we have for our bead challenge, which is trying to get the maps right for developing high-speed internet in the rural parts of the county. I had the pleasure of spending my day out, or at least my morning, out in Aerosmith. We did a speed test, talked with some people, and the speed test actually yielded a result of 0.6 megabytes per second. That's slower than the dial-up modems that those who have gray hair like me remembered when we first got the internet. Just to give the standard of what is served today is 100 megabytes per second. However, that village and all of eastern McLean County right now is listed as served. This is driven by primarily 3 wireless internet service providers indicating that they can provide high-speed service at the 100 megabyte per second download standard. We are asking everybody, especially in eastern and southern McLean County, to please help us get documentation to disprove that so that we can get these maps updated. We have until Monday to submit information. Go to the McLean County website. At the top, there's a banner. Click on that. It has all the information that you'll need. You can do speed tests. You could submit information to us that you requested service within the last 180 days and you were denied for that. And we can upload this to the state so that we can challenge this FCC information. The FCC maps are updated off of what the ISPs, the internet service providers, are telling them they can provide. As illustrated this morning, 0.06 megabytes per second is not 100 megabytes per second. That is the standard. We could also take information stating that you tried to schedule a service installation in the last 365 days. That's within the last year and could not have it delivered to you. We can challenge that location and get that added as becoming grant eligible so that we can get high-speed internet there. Another thing that you can provide us is if you try to get high-speed internet in your home or your farm and you were told that you had to pay an astronomical fee. Today I heard about a $10,000 fee that one farmer had to pay to get high-speed internet to their farm. $10,000 out of pocket just to get the service, and then they had the monthly service fee that's on top of it. And I don't even want to tell you what the cost was annually or monthly for that farmer to continue to keep that service. So I'm asking anyone who can hear me, anyone who is in the room, to reach out to your friends and neighbors and not assume that they're participating in this, because right now we've got very little input or participation in the eastern part of McLean County for this. So again, if you live in eastern McLean County especially, or southeast McLean County, please go to our website and provide us what information that you can so we can challenge these maps and get them right. This is so important as there's over $1 billion, that is a billion with a B, in the pipeline that's going to be coming, and it's going to be based off of what these maps show. So please reach out, go to the McLean County website, provide us the information. There's a form that you can put your information in, upload any documentation you have, and we're going to be ready to go through that on Monday and get all of this uploaded to the state so that we can get these maps correct. It is too important. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to invest. And as we all know, internet now is a need. It is no longer a want. So please help those in the rural parts if you can. Again, 0.06 is not served. That's slower than the dial-up modems that we used to have and use. So again, please participate. Reach out to your neighbors, your friends, anybody that you know, and don't assume that people are participating, because I can tell you right now, we've got very little documentation and participation in the Bee Challenge in eastern and southeastern McLean County, which is where we need the most input at this point to get these maps correct. I'll hang around after the meeting. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to talk to you after the meeting is done. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any communication? Oh, Member Klein, Chair Klein.
Thank you for just your a quick minute. I just wanted to say that because of the very unfortunate break-in and damage done to Mount Pisgah, that will no longer be able to serve as a polling location in this Tuesday's election. So if you know anyone who lives in precincts in Bloomington, 5, 7, 12, and 59, they will need to not report to Mount Pisgah, but go to the Grosvenor Motors Arena at 101 South Madison Street, and the polling times are from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's, again, precincts 5, 7, 12, and 59 will have to relocate because of the damage. Thank you.
It's unfortunate, but thank you very much for informing everyone. Is there any other business tonight? Oh, yes, Member Johnston.
Thank you. Just to piggyback on that a little bit, this is one of the things that people tend to forget, but I want to put a shout out to the clerk's office because they do offer weekend voting. So you can go to the mall and you can come down, it's down here as well, to the downtown, the government center to vote on Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
Very good. Before we leave, I just want to wish everybody the most wonderful St. Patrick's Day. My grandmother would be angry if I didn't wish everybody a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, and an Irish wish for a friend, wishing you a rainbow. From sunshine after showers, miles and miles of Irish miles. For golden blessed hours, shamrocks at your doorway. For luck and laughter too, a host of friends that never ends, each day your whole life through. Have a good evening.